The next important aspect of access security relates to the network. Within the network security layer, we look at the domain security. Domain security relates to the domain, which is a repository of all the objects in the network domain. This includes user objects, or it could include groups or access rights and permissions which are implemented at the domain level. Typically, a domain could be implemented through a Windows or even a Unix operating system. A domain forms part of the company's internal network and is used for authentication and authorization of users before they get into the ERP and the applications. The users could also use the domain security or the domain to share files, folders, and drives throughout the company using the local area network. The internal network consists of the local area network, the network equipment, and any other hardware or software, including firewalls, which may be required for protecting the data flow through the internal network of the company. External networks could be your firewall or any other device which is operating at the perimeter of your internal network. Basically, this is like a gatekeeper network or a set of devices which protect the company's internal network from external threats. We will look at an example of how the internal network and the external network look like. The other key aspect of network security, which is very important for us to look at, is remote access. Now, remote access can be used by several of the administrators or even users to log in remotely to the ERP or the IT systems of a company. Typically, users log in remotely using either virtual private networks or VPNs as they are known to work remotely. We need to make sure that the remote access is adequately secured. Another aspect of network security is managing the protection from viruses and malwares. Today, we see a lot of virus hitting the systems and applications throughout the world. Malware is a new challenge, including ransomware, which are being continuously coming up in the public domain. As systems are more and more networked throughout the world, it is very likely that some kind of a virus and malware spread through the system, either through the use of emails or pen drives or any other data sharing mode. So the company has to ensure that all the attacks which come through the form of virus or malwares or ransomwares need to be protected. Now let us look at a simple example of how a network is designed or how a network is laid out in a company. So in this example, we see that these are the individual systems which users use, and this entire ecosystem is the company's internal network. These could be your servers, where ERP is running on the servers. There could be multiple servers or there could be a single server. This could be an example of a file server or even a domain that is available in the internal network. So typically, users make use of the internal network while accessing the systems. It is also possible that certain external users may be there who access the internal network, who may be required to access the internal network. Now these could be your suppliers or your partners or associates or even consultants or contractors who may be required to use the internal network. Here we can see the internal network is protected by certain gatekeepers or routers, and in between there is a web server to protect the internal network from the external network. Now this area is called the DMZ. DMZ stands for a demilitarized zone. So whenever an attack is coming from an outside network, so the attack is handled by the web server and the internal systems are protected from any such attacks. And that is why a DMZ isolates the internal network from the external network. And here we can see that there is a firewall. Now it depends on the company where the firewall is placed. Sometimes the firewall could be placed nearer to the internet, or there could be a firewall which can be placed in the internal network, or it is possible that there can be two sets of firewalls which are placed both at the perimeter of the internal network and also at the external gateway to provide additional security. And here we can see there are remote users who are trying to access the system of the company through a remote internet connection, possibly using a VPN. We need to make sure that a VPN is used when connecting remotely, because VPN provides a secure tunnel to access the internal network. So as auditors, we need to understand how the company has implemented the overall architecture of the network and where things could go wrong and to what extent it is relevant to an audit of financial statements. That is a key consideration. From a cyber security or a network security point of view, these are very critical controls, but from a financial statement audit point of view, sometimes these network security or network controls could be considered as more operational in nature. However, it also depends on the nature of the business. Example, if a company is typically a manufacturing company and using only a single ERP in one location, then looking at network security may not make sense. However, if it is a web-based business and web-based portal is used for making transactions where all the external vendors are connected, then it may make sense for us to look at network security in more detail, even though it relates to the operational aspects. Because in that case, it is possible that some of the business process and controls are built into the web server itself. The business rules and logic could also be hosted on the web server. And in that case, network security and all the configuration of firewall, VPN, DMZ, all those become relevant from an audit point of view. So we have to understand the network and the business and correlate what is more important for the audit. If financial transactions are being initiated from the internet, it may make sense for us to look at the network security controls in more detail. If not, then we may limit our audit work only to those controls which are more relevant to the internal network and limited only to the domain or even to the servers itself. So as we go to the outermost layer of the security, which is the physical security, we look at controls of how physical systems, physical servers, physical infrastructure is being protected from unauthorized access. We look at the security of computing facilities, whether the premises is locked, whether there is a security guard who is available, how are data centers protected from unauthorized access, are there cameras, are there CCTVs which record who is entering and who is using the facilities. Many times it is also possible that there could be biometric controls, and depending on the criticality of the infrastructure, the level of controls or the number of controls could be higher. Under physical security, there are several other controls which are environmental controls. Because computing facilities are sensitive to the environmental hazards like fire, water, humidity, etc., it is very critical to protect the systems from damage because of these hazards. So physical security and environmental controls are part of the same physical security layer, and these relate to the computing facilities that process, store, and transmit sensitive and critical data. These security controls also protect the IT from operational failures, theft, and stealing of confidential data information. It could also protect the system from data loss due to corruption. So to summarize, the manner in which access security is implemented will vary on the nature, size, complexity, and the business operations, and to the extent in which systems are used within a company. While most of the activities which we mentioned are critical for the company, it is likely that some of these activities are not relevant from a financial audit point of view. For example, security activities that relate to the database layer that directly protect the integrity of financial data will be more relevant to our audit. Whereas security activities which pertain to the outer layers, including the network or even the physical security layer and the environmental controls, may not be that relevant from a financial audit point of view, even though for the company these layers may be very critical. So as auditors, we need to determine and apply our thought and judgment in determining which are the relevant activities which relate to our audit. Here we look at the mapping between the security activities that we have seen, the various security activities of user management, segregation of duties, sensitive access, privileged user access, audit logging and monitoring, password configuration, direct data access, file system security, domain security, firewalls, VPN, network and antivirus controls, and physical and environmental controls. We have seen several activities as a part of the access security that we need to look at as auditors. We have also mapped this to the respective layers of the security that we have discussed. So in this slide, you can see the relation between the activity versus the layer at which the activity operates. For example, you can see that user management is relevant to all the layers of security. Why so? Because users exist at the application layer, users exist at the database layer, the operating system, and also network and physical layer. So we need to consider user management at all layers of security. Similarly, sensitive access and segregation of duties need to be maintained at all the layers. For example, the database administrator should be separate from the administrator who is managing application security or the administrator who is managing operating system security. Physical user access also applies to all the layers because super users exist at all the layers. Audit logging and monitoring also applies to all the layers because at every layer it is critical to log the critical events and activities so that these can be reviewed at a later point of time. And it is possible to identify, in case an incident happens, it is possible to identify at what layer the breach has happened. Even password configuration will be relevant to all the layers of security. As we are aware, at each layer of the security, that is the application, passwords are relevant. Database, passwords are relevant. Operating system, passwords are relevant. Because wherever there is a user, a password will always be relevant. And hence, password configuration also applies to all layers of security. Now we see the example of direct data access. Now, direct data access typically relates to only the database security or the operating system security layer. Reason being, the direct data access will not be possible through the application. So it is not relevant from an application point of view to look at direct data access. Direct data access is also known as backend access. So it is a bypass to the application security. And also at a network and physical layer, the direct data access is not applicable or it may not be relevant. File system security is very specific to operating system security. Sometimes we may also look at file system security for the data files which reside at the operating system. So there could be a slight overlap between the database layer and also the operating system layer when we are looking at file system security. Domain security is again relevant at the operating system layer because domain is typically implemented either in a Windows or a Unix environment. And the security of this domain is to control the access at a network layer. And that is why we say the controls are implemented both at the operating system layer and the network security layer. Looking at firewalls, VPNs and antivirus, these again relate to the operating system level because the relevant controls need to be implemented. The antivirus has to be implemented at an operating system level. Typically, it is implemented in one system, which is a server, and then it is all the antivirus is updated through all the other systems within the company as a push mechanism. Firewalls and VPNs are relevant more at the network security layer, as these relate to remote access to the internal network from a remote site. And finally, environmental controls or environmental security is relevant only to the physical layer, where the physical protection of information systems or the information infrastructure, IT infrastructure, is relevant only at the physical security layer. So with this, I hope that we have understood the various layers of security and various activities within security and how these are related to each other. Now let us look at some examples of what risks can be present within the access security domain and what controls can be implemented by a company to protect those or mitigate those risks. Here we see an example of risks at various activity layers of the access security. As we have discussed, user management, password, access logging, and so on. These are the various activities which are present in the access security domain. Now let us look at the risk at each of those activities. What can be some risks? Unauthorized access to systems could be one risk which relates to user management. That means unauthorized users who do not require the access or who should not be having access to systems are able to access the systems. This is a risk. Now, what is a possible control that management can implement? In this case, we see that a formal approval process for creating, changing, and removing access to the application has been implemented as a control by the company. And when we go as auditors, we need to evaluate and whether this control has been implemented by looking at a sample. And once we evaluate, we also need to validate. We need to validate or test whether the control is working throughout the year. Next risk would be users have excessive access to system. That means users could have access which is over and above what is required to perform their job responsibilities. In this case, the control which is implemented is a periodic review to verify that user access is consistent or commensurate with the job responsibilities. Here, as we have discussed earlier also, typically a list of users and their access levels within the system is generated by the IT department, and this is provided to individual department or head of departments to make sure that the access is in line with the user job responsibilities. For example, a store manager would be provided with a list of all the users within the stores department, and each user wise access is provided to the manager. The manager has to look at that and confirm back to IT if any changes in that access level is required. Once a feedback is received from all the departments about the access level and the confirmation is obtained by IT, IT should implement all these changes, if any, into the systems. it is not enough to do a review. It is also important to take action on the result of the review. Now let us look at the activity of password. What is the risk with passwords? Weak passwords may compromise security controls. We can see that the control here is a robust password policy is implemented at the application layer, the database layer, and also the operating system layer. Now let us look at another example. Here in the activity, access logging and monitoring. So what could go wrong here? Unauthorized activities may go undetected, or as we have seen that any activity or unauthorized activity which is performed may go undetected. Like we have discussed earlier, the example of privileged users activity which needs to be logged and monitored. So what is the control? Special system utilities for accessing data are logged and reviewed on a regular basis. So here the critical thing is first is to log and then subsequently to review and on a periodic basis. Audit trail controls are designed and monitored by management for potential unauthorized activities. So these two controls go hand in hand to mitigate the risk that some unauthorized activities has happened and they have gone undetected. So having these two controls would help management get the assurance that unauthorized activities, even if they have happened, have been identified or detected in a timely manner. Coming to network security, the risk is computer virus may cause data loss or corruption. Now what is the control? Appropriate software, or rather antivirus software or anti-malware software should be installed, and the key thing is updated regularly. So many times we see that antivirus software is installed, but most of the softwares are outdated. As a result, they are not able to protect the systems from newer viruses or newer malwares. So it is very critical to protect the system from virus attacks. Another control that could be implemented is regular update of patches at the operating system level or the database level to prevent the risk of viruses attacking any system. At the network security layer, the risk is unauthorized persons and hackers may gain access to financial data. So only if this risk relates to financial data, we may want to consider this as a relevant thing for the audit. So in this case, the internal network is protected from unauthorized access via external connections by using or placement of firewalls and other network equipment. So this is the control that the company has implemented. We may want to see the network diagram of the company and make sure that the firewalls or the VPNs are placed at the right location so that they are in a position to prevent any unauthorized access or any hacking from a remote place. Physical security. What can go wrong here? Unauthorized users may gain access to computing facility. Is it possible that somebody can just walk into the data center and tamper with the equipment there? So certain controls need to be implemented for computing facilities, which include the data center, which also include the storage like backup tapes or disks which can store the financial data. These need to be appropriately restricted. It is also likely that these storage devices or equipment should be protected from other environmental hazards like fire, smoke, etc., or even dust for that matter. So these are some of the examples of the controls which mitigate the risks for the access security. So there could be several other risks and other controls which mitigate those risks that we need to consider, and these need to be considered on a company to company basis and also depends on the scope of our audit or the business process of the client also. There are many factors we need to consider, and only those controls or risks that are relevant to our financial audit need to be evaluated and also validated. Evaluation is basically whether the control is existing. We take a sample, and validation provides us the assurance that the specific control has been operating throughout the year.